Pepsi, Pepsi.
Oopsie poopsie.
Everyone will be like, "Where you at?
Where you is?
Where you is?"
Hey, there we go. Good morning, everybody. Welcome back to another episode of the Jedi Academy, the Q&A show here on RSG, which we do every Saturday morning at this time. And you know what this is. This is where we bring the best and the brightest and sprinkle in a little bit of mental damage of me with these awesome panelists from all over, different content creators that are here to do one thing and one thing only, and that's to answer your questions about Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes, the mobile game brought to you by Capital Games. Glad to have you guys here on a Saturday. Grab your coffee, grab your drinks, grab whatever you need, and let's get ready to rock and roll. If you're new to the show, or even if you're a veteran, I'll still break down how this is going to work. So it's pretty simple. For the next 2 hours, we are going to be doing nothing but Q&A for Star Wars Galaxy of Heroes. If you have a question you would like to pose to us, all you need to do is put your question in the chat. Now remember, I'm scooping up questions. I'm not going to be really looking at that chat that much because I'm going to be scooping questions. So if you have questions that you want to ask, it's real simple. We have a format. I use Nightbot. I have to have a filter word. The filter word is the actual word question. So put the word question first before you put your question statement into the chat. That way I can identify it as a question, and then we can get it scooped up, and then I can get it read. Now, it does behoove you to get your question in sooner rather than later. Why? Because, again, we have a 2-hour time limit on this. And so get your question in now. Get them in. Get them off hot off the presses. Get them in, because later on, there's been a couple times, not, it's rare, but there has been a couple times we didn't get to like every single question, but it can happen. And I just want to make sure that, you guys get your questions in. But most times too, a lot of people will ask questions that you want to ask. So, think about that as well. If that's a question you had and someone asked it, hey, we'll answer it, and then you get your question taken care of just like that. Lickety split. That being said, let's introduce the council that's so far here today. I'm sure there'll be some that are missing because they were on the Heidi stream last night, and God bless America, they get a little snookered. We may be down a few folks today. It's all good. This is what happens when you go to Heinz. I will be doing it next Friday myself. Me and Loki are going to be on there, and that should be a lot of fun. It just means Jedi Academy, my God, I'm going to have so much caffeine inside me, I'm going to die. All right, we start off with my co-host from the GAC Center and also the co-host of the Escape Podcast channel, just in general. We've got the Nev.
Hello, Governor.
Hello, how are you today, sir?
Oh, I'm very, very good. Very, very sprightly. See, I didn't I didn't have a skinful last night, unlike other people. So yeah, I'm bright-eyed and I say bright-eyed and bushy-tailed. I've been up since 6 a.m. So I'm like hyped up on coffee because I've already like drunk a pot and a half of coffee. So
there you go.
I'm jittery as hell.
That will do it. Also join us with lots of coffee in his system. We've got the one, the only, the ultimate warrior himself, Warrior from Warrior Presents.
What is going on?
Yeah, how things up in Rocky Mountain, Colorado.
Rocky Mountain High.
Hi, Colorado.
I will be here for at least the first hour of this call, probably till about 9:15. So if anybody has questions for me, they definitely want to get it in the first half.
That's right.
And if I go roboto for whatever reason, because my phone is stupid like that, sometimes it does that.
Sure.
You just have to let me know.
That's fine. It's so let it be written, so let it be done. And then last but not least, representing the light side of the force to balance my side, because I am definitely dark side. I think Jedi, they deserved what they got. We've got the one and the only Jedi Master Adastros here with us.
Good morning.
Good morning, young lady. It's been a while since we had you on.
Yeah. Good to be back.
Yeah, you've been a little busy. If you guys don't know, Jedi Master Adastra is an assassin, and she's been taking some missions around the world doing some good stuff. Nah, I made that up. She's not an assassin. But always glad to have you on, JMA. Oh Christ! Now I just want to highlight something. Thank you for the super chat. You can do super chats if you really want to get your question in or if you want to highlight something. However, don't do what Meow Meow just did. I'm not reading that. Nev, if you want to read it, you can, but I refuse to read
Okay,
it.
I'll read it.
Yeah, well,
Ranger.
$10
Okay.
donation, but I'm not acknowledging nor reading it. And so go ahead.
Okay, so yeah, Meow Meow with the $10 donation super chat. Ranger, you never read my question. You never read my question yesterday.
That's true.
Are the Double Mint twins the best set of twins of all eternity? Would they forever be known as the Eternal Twins? That's 2 questions, Meow Meow, not 1.
Yeah. So
Naughty.
Yeah, she's trying to form a new guild called Meowie Chlorians.
Thanks for the donation, no. That's an awesome.
Thanks for the
I always say
donation.
thank you for the donations, and you guys can do the same thing in the chat. Of course, if you put ET in there and any of your questions, I'm just going to ignore them. I'm just going to let you know right now. Meow Meow's trying to be very meow evil. And yee. E2, Meow Meow. She's betrayed me so much lately. It's really broken my heart. You're breaking my heart, Meow Meow. All right. Oh boy, I can just see it now. Tons of super chats. ET, and I'm not going to read them. I'll say thank you for the kind donations, very much appreciated. But my days of dealing with anything ET are over. I'm not doing it anymore. Nope. All right. So we're letting the questions come in. Nice and steady, so we'll start doing questions here. But we like to start off and let everybody let's just talk about the week that was in Star Wars Galaxy Heroes. What a hell of a week it was! My God, Conquest is here, and ladies and gentlemen of the panel, I gotta say they knocked it out of the goddamn park with this one. I have enjoyed Conquest so much. Now, Nev, where we kind of heard a little bit from you guys. You know what I really want to hear is Jedi Master Dash, because all she uses is Jedi. We're going to get everybody's thoughts. We'll start JMA. Conquest, I love it. Everyone loves it. It's fantastic. What do you think?
Yeah, I really enjoyed it too. Like, it was a lot of fun. Like, it was just a refreshing new game mode. Way better than Galactic Challenges.
Oh boy.
Not that bar was very high, to be honest.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, this was just fantastic. Like, all the posts that were leading up to it, you're like, oh, okay, this looks like it could be cool, but will it be?
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, it was just fun. Like, so for me, it wasn't challenging because I have so much, like,
Sure.
So hard mode will be the challenge for me, but this was just straight up fun. Like, I didn't need to use, any like the special stuff, right? And I had the roster, so the stamina negative effects never hit me. But it was just fun getting to use all my Jedi, of course.
Of course.
So that was pretty enjoyable, using the different teams, and just in general, in that regard, just using whatever teams you wanted, and you have the crazy, insane discs that you would apply to them. Like, some of that stuff is so broken. Like, some of those, you could do the loops, you could do the. It's just but yeah, I got
some you had to with those feats. You had those feats were crazy, especially for the boss fights. Yeah. You had to really have some of those discs to pull that crap off, or the team.
Exactly. I was just going to mention for the Sith Emperor one, that's 700% turn meter removal.
You gotta have. You gotta have troopers and Griddian and stuff, and you gotta.
But I would kill them too quickly, so pain in the butt, because I have my troopers are decked out, right? And then I was applying those discs, so it took me a few tries for it to line up. And then you have to have those discs to make it easier.
Yeah.
I don't even know if it's possible without them, to be honest.
it really is. Warrior, now you're an old timer like me. You're an old crusty veteran. We've been burnt before so many times on stuff from CG. I'm gonna let you say, what did you think of Conquest, man? Your overall thoughts on this?
Well, I know that when I had quit the game, it was because they had well over a year of nothing, just nothingness.
Mm-hmm.
And they had been in that nothingness, that desert of time. They had said that it was because they were rebuilding that which was their spaghetti code, that they were fix their code and all of that, because they wanted a future that was better, coding for things such as this. And I know when they launched for you guys, while I was had still quit, one of the first game modes that was like a minor version of this, which was those just those little galactic challenges. It was like just a little mini game, if you will, of this within that new coding. It was kind of their test if their coding was going to work, and they wanted to test the different things to see if they could like interchange and all of that and see how the coding was working. And when I came back to see them using it and working on a small scale made me excited, and everybody kind of downplayed that and was like, oh, this, galactic challenges are dumb, blah, 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 blah. But I just was like very excited about it because from, and I know I haven't done coding personally for 20 years, but I know enough to know that the possibilities that they had with that, and I was like, this is going to be good. So when Conquest was announced, I was like, oh man, this is going to be a large scale version of this. It's going to be fun. And so when Conquest came out, I knew it was going to be good. And so playing Conquest was absolutely terrific. There are some things I want to talk about that I'm not happy with Conquest about, but there are far more things I love about Conquest and about the possibilities of the future with the game itself, that I'm super excited about, and the health of the game and the health of the build of the actual computer portion of it, the programming portion of it, that make me happy to see that they've actually done in that 16 to 18 months where they did nothing, they actually were doing something. So that's good to know.
The Nev.
I think it's good. I'll hold off on the fun part. Everybody knows I've got 4 accounts. I run 4 accounts. They're all free to play. And while I do think that this new game mode is good, it's excellent. It doesn't necessarily mean it's fun. I'm having fun on 2 of my accounts because I get good RNG, and I'm not having fun on the other 2 accounts that I'm getting bad RNG because I'm not getting good data disks. But that's an RNG thing. And, everybody in the game suffers, good or bad RNG. So, I'm not going to be critical of this new game mode for that reason. But yeah, I've been enjoying it. One of my big accounts at 4.5, I'm not having as much fun on it because I'm not getting good data cards, and I'm still in Sector 3, and I'm in Sector 4 on like a 3.6 mil GP account because I've got good data disks and I just need to use the same 3 teams. So I will say that it is good and that I am enjoying it. So as far as I'm concerned, I think that they've done a good job with this game mode. I'm glad that they didn't hype it up like they did with Galactic Challenges, because the hype was way too high on Galactic Challenges, and when they released it, it was the biggest anticlimax. It was a massive letdown, and as far as I'm concerned, they've never been able to repair that bridge regarding that game mode. I still don't like Galactic Challenges. I don't enjoy it. I'm never going to enjoy it because my expectations were so high. Yeah. So with this mode, I made my expectations so low that when they brought it out and I did it the first 24 hours on all 4 of my accounts, and I got to the end of Sector 1, I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna play this slow because I'm enjoying it. I'm not gonna rush it. I'm gonna enjoy it. And I am. And that's not to say like Warrior. I too have. I mean, we briefly Warrior and I briefly discussed it.
Well, yeah, I mean,
on Twitter the other day. There are
some things that they need to change. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah.
But it's not. Oh my God, this is horrible. It's, hey guys, we've got these. There's a couple of tweaks here that you could make. Here's some constructive criticism here. Here's some constructive criticism here. And as long as it's not like the criticism that was with Galactic Challenges, which was these 3 things are absolutely horrendous. And if you don't do something about it, I'm never playing this game mode again. With Galactic Conquest, it's like, I enjoy it and I'm going to play it regardless. But it'd be really nice if you could tweak this area and this area and this area.
Yeah, I think one of the tweaks they need to do is, and I think they discussed this. I can't remember where it was, but starting at like the sector 1 being a little bit lower gear tier for some of those players that are lower GP. The more people we can involve that have an opportunity to do it, whether they want to do it or not is another thing. Whether they find it fine or not, but at least give them the opportunity. Those 2 million GP, those 1 million GPs, where they can go in there and at least do a sector 2. Get some rewards, get some good stuff out of it. Maybe even do further, and then as they progress, give them a better starting point than the Gear 12 part was. That was one of my criticisms of it, which is a slight criticism, and I think that they're listening. And the good thing about being an exhibition is they're listening to feedback. They're looking at making tweaks to it. We haven't done hard mode yet. I think all of us will, most of us will be in hard mode. I've been going real slow with it just to enjoy it and just to do it progressively over time. I'm in Sector 5. I'm not going to have any problem with Sector 5. I'm just going slow and kind of looking at everything and looking at the data disk and talking to everybody. And I've had some good RNG because I got those 2 badass purple ones at Sector 4. They're pretty nice. I ain't gonna lie. So I've enjoyed it immensely. So let us know what you guys think. I'm sure we'll get some questions on it. Speaking of questions, let's begin. I'm going to start from the top and work my way around for questions. So let me get those going and we will rock and roll. So remember, guys, get your questions in. The sooner you get them in, the better. And also, if you could, this is YouTube. And if you're not familiar with YouTube, there's 2 ways you can help us with our channel and say thank you. First of all, thank you for being here. But if you want to help the channel grow, you got to hit the thumbs up, views, and views are kind of associated with how long you view. So that's just how YouTube is. If you want your content out there in the world, you have to have those couple things happen. Or after about 2 or 3 hours, you're like, yeah, your video sucks. Go into purgatory. All right. Let's see here. We are on, let me find the first one here. All right. So here's a good question. We're going to start with you, Nev. We can go around the corn on this one, as old Grande Patron would say. We'll start with you, Nev, and work our way around. From Apropos Wooing, it says, question for all. What is one of your favorite moments in this game so far?
I still my favorite moment from the game still is getting Treya for the first time. When they brought out the heroic Sith raid and all of the whales and the krakens in the whale and kraken guilds, were able to get and Treya first came out with Sign and Nihilus, and everyone was like, "Damn, this character is incredible." And that was it. That was the goal. Everybody wanted to be in a guild that could do the heroic Sith raid. So being part of a guild and building that guild up and working towards being able to do the heroic Sith raid and then getting that 5-star trek. Yeah, that's still my best moment. Getting a Treya is still one of those momentous occasions within the game. It always will be getting Treya.
All right, Warrior.
There's so many really, really good moments in the game. I think probably, doing as a guild, going through and doing the very first ever guild wide territory battle, max star territory battle as a team, when the very first territory battle ever, was launched.
Sure.
Because it took a lot of coordination, and that was a super accomplishment. So doing that together, that was fun.
All right, Lady Adastra.
Yeah, I'm glad he got to me last.
Just one. I don't need the top 10.
Because I've been part of this game a long time too. It's incredible. Probably, I guess, one of my top because it changed a lot of things for me. What I got to do, and it was in February 2018. I was the first person, non-test account, I guess I would say. I was the first non-test account to solo the heroic tank with the Ezra, the Akbar Ezra team. I was the very first person to do that. It did a double. I was with Sir G, he has the Wampa team, so we were in the guild together. So we had the first like double solo together. Like it was a cool screenshot. Big deal, back then when there was like hardly anything that soloed. A full solo of a raid was, of that raid, but that was just not a common thing like it is now.
Mm-hmm.
And then that actually is what got me into I created a YouTube account because a lot of people wanted to see like how did you do that and you upload videos, and that's what opened up for another world for me in this game of helping people out and being so involved in different aspects. And that was still, I remember the because I had to wait to turn it in because the guild to let like people get their zeros, right, like wait X amount of time to before posting it. I remember being so nervous, like I hope my run isn't lost in the, like a restart or something, right? And then, oh, there goes all your hard work. But yeah, definitely one of my top moments of the game is that satisfaction, and then just what all the chain events that occurred after that. And
All right. Very nice.
good time.
I'll tell you
God, that was years ago too.
I'll
Jesus.
tell you, yeah, mine was a little ways back, but mine was after I finally beat Gas. I had streamed for 18 hours to beat that communist event. And I'm not going to lie, I cried like a little girl when I beat it because I was so happy. Actually, I was kind of just numb because I beat it and I couldn't really enjoy it as much because I was so numb after streaming for like so long. And when it finally happened, to see everybody explode, and I'm just in there like a vegetable, just laying there like, yay! I'm going to bed. I mean, there's a ton of moments, Scott. We could answer this one question alone. We could sit here forever.
Oh, yeah. I was just
On
gonna
this
say,
question.
because of how many years we've put into this
I
game,
know.
we've all had these different, just seeing all the changes.
I know. Oh my god.
Amazing that it's still going. I mean,
yes, it is. All right, let's go to Warrior next. This is from Darth Sign 1972 Warrior. And it says, question: with people gearing characters to relics for conquest and galactic challenges, should CG revisit the GAC matchmaking? I faced someone where I had 2 galactic legends and they had no galactic legends and felt bad for them.
No, I don't think they have revisited the thing. And you got to remember what their matchmaking always has been. It's not total. It's not your total. It is always the top. It's the top, 75 or the top 80, characters, that kind of thing. So it depends on where you sit. And so it's how many teams you're going to build on the top. So if your top, let's say your top 75 characters, your top 80 characters, it depends on where you're at, which division you're in. But whatever division you're in, however many characters you're going to use for that particular GAC, let's say it's your top 80. If your top 80 and their top 80 are equivalent, approximate, that is what matters. The other person could have, 10 million more, GP than you because of, they decided to gear 12 everything and you decided not to. It doesn't matter. So it does look kind of wonky, but they also said they were when those launched, they did say they were going to try to take into effect those things when people have them. So like when people have them, like 2 or like less than 4, sometimes they will get matched up with people that have none, and that's kind of sucky, like someone to have 2 and someone to have none. But when I had 2, it happened where I sometimes got against somebody that had none, or someone that had 2, or someone that had 4. Like I was in that weird stage of being matched with people that had more, the same, or less. But the second I had all 4, I noticed the matchmaking never put me with anyone except for people with 4. I've never been paired with somebody that had less than all 4 since I've had all 4. Mm-hmm. So there is something in matchmaking where the moment you possess 4, they put you in a grouping with other people that have all 4. So at least that's my experience. So, but when you have less than 4, it's a hodgepodge, a blend. So there's something to that. So if you've got less than 4, maybe you want to stay less than 4, so you have the advantage. But you know, even if yours aren't even that good, like if you've got one at gear 11, you're screwed. If you've got like 4 of them at gear 11, you're going to be going against everybody that has 4 maxed out. So it just is what it is. But that's what I've noticed from my experience. But yeah, there is something to be said about the way they match make, specific with the Galactic Legends. And your top 80, but the rest of what's below the top 80 makes no difference. Or if you're, you know, in a different, you know, division, it might be the top 75 or the top, you know, 60 or whatever. It depends on, like I said, on which division and how many characters you're using to set defense.
Yeah. All right. This is actually a good question coming up, GMA, from NR Wilson. Mr. Wilson says, question, Relic 8 Vader overkill, question mark?
Relic 8 Vader?
Yeah, it's an overkill.
Oh, hell no. That's a great one, you know. It's one of the better non-GL, ones to do, in fact, because it increases all of that. It kind of just makes it easier on the mod Rex, because Vader needs like everything to be really good. You need the damage, the crit chance, the potency, the speed. So the Relic 8 actually kind of helps mitigate the mod demands a little bit and just makes them a bit stronger, you know, survival. But yeah, I mean, if I wasn't on my Jedi, you know, I'm Relic 8ing Jedi only. If I wasn't doing that, Vader would actually be one of the ones I would, for that reason, because he's used to counter basically everything. So he's definitely not one to, it's not a bad one at all to give you a Relic 8.
No, and his ship too, man, especially on Empire Fleet.
Oh yeah, right.
I mean, that sucker starts hitting ridiculously hard. So no, I don't think it's overkill. He's actually one of the top 5 characters that say you should relic. You know, so no, Vader is not overkill. That's a damn good. Yeah. That's a damn good.
He'll always be of use too. Yeah, like he'll always be a counter for something. He's just very strong. And yeah, I didn't even think about the ship. Yeah, the ship is already strong before all that too. Yeah. So I wonder how much more of an impact the ship actually gets.
All right. Going back to you, Nev. Are you there? Yeah, okay. Tumblr wants to follow that question with this one. Relic 8 anyone but SLKR overkill.
Well, I mean, the thing is, it really, really does depend on your roster. It really does depend on your roster what is and is not overkill. I mean, if you're sitting on all 4 GLs and you want your GLs to be really, really good, depending on what you use them for, you know, if they're primarily there for GAC and for territory wars or for GOTB, then, you know, you're going to do your relics on the teams that are best for that. And then you might think to yourself, well, a Relic 8 Vader or a Relic 8 Slacker is kind of overkill because it's not necessary. But if you've not got any GLs, you might be thinking to yourself, well, you know, I've got some off-meta counters that I need to make OP, so maybe I'll relegate those instead of... It really, really does depend on your roster, I think.
Well, I think...
What is and is not overkill depends on what your best teams are and what you use them.
I don't care what your GP is. There's just certain characters that are just at Relic or any of the Galactic Legends. I see Palps on the fence for me, but Jedi Knight Luke, Gas, Vader, we just talked about that. Those are not overkill. Those characters, especially like Jedi Knight Luke, that is your counter to Supreme Leader Kylo Ren. You know, Gas is self-explanatory. There's certain characters I think I'll even put Grievous in there because he's got his ship at Relic 8. He gets all that extra additional health and damage. He's another really good one. Those are not overkill. That's just, if you can relic those characters, they're really damn good, and it really makes it a lot more difficult to kill those bastards on defense. So I think some characters are overkill. You shouldn't even be bothering with relics anyway, but again, we could be here for another hour or two going through each character and say, is it a Relic 8 worth it or not?
He's not here, Ranger. You can say it.
Oh,
Mace.
yeah, Mace. That
Do
was a
not-
waste. Yeah, Rambam,
Yeah,
shame
Mace.
on you. You're a very bad man.
Not once, but
Yeah,
twice.
I already told him that to his face, so it's all good. So that was the last question. All right. Next question to you, Warrior from Apros Wunis' question. Because CG declared people show their love of things by doing them, I still have not done relics. How else can I say I don't want to?
I'm not sure how that's a question. That's really more of a statement. Yeah, you make a statement by not doing the things you don't want to do,
Yeah.
and that comes up in the metrics, and so they can see in the metrics what people are doing. So they'll see participation rates, and they'll see what people aren't doing. So it's as simple as that. They see how many people are quitting, and see how many people are joining. I will say that it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Sorry, I hate to say it. It doesn't matter. I thought a long time ago that it would matter, but there are far more people joining, like just kind of, and I don't use the word, ignorantly, like in a bad way, just ignorantly, like downloading the game, playing it like brand new because they don't know. It's just like, hey, I like Star Wars, click, and then they're like, oh, look, there's a Facebook page, and for this game, and they're starting up like thousands a day, and then. And I mean, I'm on the Facebook page, and they're like, "Hey, I just started. How do I do ships?" It's like every single day there's just thousands, and it's like there are tons of us that are like, that have been like jaded or burned or whatever, and they're like, "Oh, I'm out of here." And it's like, okay, well, there's thousands replacing you. So honestly, I mean, I hate to say it, but it really just doesn't matter. There's like this fresh floodgate that is opened and is coming in, and so what you have to do is you do you. Everybody just has to do them.
Yeah.
And let the chips fall where they may. You can't bow into pressure of keeping up with the Joneses, because you're going to do things you should not be doing in your life. You should not be spending money because you want to keep up with the Joneses, or spending time in a game that you don't have, or things like that. So everyone has to make those decisions, what's best for them. And if you can keep this in check in a way that's healthy, then fine. It's just a game. But if you can't, you just need to be another statistic and just quit, kind of thing. You know what I mean? So, but everything's a decision, and it's ultimately going to be one of those things where you just need to vote by doing those things that you do. You'll be another statistic, and they'll look at those things. Those are metrics that they look at, but it ultimately really doesn't matter, because this thing will keep going. It's going to keep kicking. It's going to keep moving forward. This is the most productive thing EA has done in a decade. So,
Well said. All right, Apros one. I'm going to answer this one. It's his question: was Reese's Pieces truly wise to jump in where M&M's didn't and finance the movie? What? Apropos, I'm gonna find you. I'm gonna find you, man. No, don't do that. What? Reese's Pieces, M&M's. This is a SWGOH. Get that shit out of here. All right, next to the lovely Jedi Master Dasha. Nathan H. question: how much do the Geo relics help with fleet? GMA.
How much do they help with what? I didn't catch the last part.
How much do the Geo relics help with fleet?
Oh, fleet. Oh, yeah.
Not feet. Get your mind out of the gutter.
It definitely makes a difference. I don't know the exact stats of like the armor speed, offense boost, but just like with mods, you clip the 60 mods, you relic them up. I think it's like relic 5, because you actually don't have to max out everything, to be honest. There is like some wiggle room. There's actually a website, someone created one. If I can find it, I'll link it in there, that you can input the relic levels and the mods that you have, and it'll tell you what the stats will be. It's pretty cool. But yes, it makes a difference. How much of a difference? I can't say precisely, but it is very noticeable. You'll see a survival boost because your protection health will go up, your speed will go up, your damage will go up. So definitely is not a bad idea to relic those guys because you're still gonna use them as a team as well. Like I still use them at my level. I still use geodes. So it's not a bad investment for a double whammy of ships and a good ground team.
All right.
I mean, I've got a relict Geo team and I've got a non-relict Geo team. The difference is about 60 to 90 seconds. So the Geo relic squad in fleet will wipe out my opponent, no matter who they are, in about 2 minutes flat. The non-relic, so that it's a mixture of gear 12s and 11s, you're pushing the 3, 4, and sometimes it gets right down to the wire. There's less than 60 seconds less, and then if it's just gear 11s, well, then at that point it's not so much you will win, it's one bit of bad RNG on an Anakin, and you're having to go in again. But so it does, having the Geo's relic does make a difference, but only if you're it won't. The difference is even more negligible if you do not have a Relic 7 GG, because all my GGs are Relic 7. It's just the Geos are either 11s and 12s, all 12s, or all Relic. So, and it's the time it takes to just smash through whatever your opponents put up.
All right. Let's see here. We are... Warrior. All right, we have a question specifically for you, Warrior, from Darsign 1972. He says, question, Warrior. Did you notice the best loot box for Conquest, you only get 2 gear pieces of gear 12 plus, where in the second to best loot box, you get 3 gear plus 12 pieces? Do you think this is an oversight?
No. There is, if you go into the hard mode and you look at the rewards for that, there's a trade-off with rewards. The best rewards get better, and what they would see as not as good a rewards get lesser. So like the gear 11 go down, the gear 12 go down, but the ship credit or the ship blueprints go up, and the relic material go up. And so like the things that you as a higher end, like say whale, so to speak, would want go up, but then the things that you probably would need less of theoretically go down. So it's a trade-off of better material. So you're really not getting more. It's one of my actual gripes, because you shouldn't get less for doing a harder mode. Even though you're getting better, it's still less. Like, you know what I mean? Like you're getting an equal give, you're just getting better gives. Like here's 10 items that are lesser, here's 10 items that are better. It's like, well, there's still 10 items, you know what I mean? Like that's just an example, but it's like they shouldn't do that, but they strategically did do that. So they're saying, well, but these are the better items, at the higher level. Sure, but why not give me those lesser items too? Because this is a damn harder level. It's like, come on now, don't be so stingy. They've always been known for being stingy with rewards, and at a very minimum, every single level across normal and hard should be literally instantaneously doubled. The rewards that they're going to be given are good, but they could be great. This is a really, really amazing mode that is, for a lot of us, we're like, oh, because we're like 8 million GP or whatever, and we're just flying through it. Of course, yeah. So for us, it's easy, but for people that have lower end rosters and stuff, it's like a 2-week grind. It's a 2-week grind for them. There should be one hell of a reward at the end when you look at what they're getting for a 1-day galactic challenge. It shouldn't be just barely more than a 1-day galactic challenge. You know what I mean? It should be 14 times the reward of a galactic challenge, or 7 times the reward of a galactic challenge at a minimum, because of the time investment potential, or even more than that. So anyway, I just feel like the rewards are always something that they are stingy on. And if it's only something you're doing once a month, they're only going to do this payout 12 times a year. So, I mean, come on now, with a couple characters a month coming into the game, just crank those rewards up.
All right. Next question for GMA. Question: which squads do you prefer to use Old Ben in? Either Jedi or Rebels?
Jedi. I primarily use him with the anti Supreme Leader team.
I do
That's been his
too. That's where Old Ben sits.
99% of the time is where he's been now. And then the rebels, there's just no room for him anymore because of Chupio. But he does go good there. But definitely, if you're facing Supreme Leader, that's like a great spare Jedi team to use. So, and that's usually my opponents almost always place the Supreme Leader, so I get to use it pretty much every GA. So yeah, Old Ben forever with Jedi.
Yeah, he's with Luke, and that's just the way it is.
Yep.
All right, next question for Nev. Well, it's kind of a question for everybody. We'll just kind of go around the corn here, but it's the second part of the question I wanted to discuss. First, did any of y'all well on Dark Trooper? And second, going back to 5 and Swevens, God, I hate Swevens. For shard drop seems like a kick in the face. Yeah, that's why I'm not welling on it. I welled on every marquee. And I was really excited because, with IG and Quill and stuff, they gotten rid of that 5 and 7 drop. Then as soon as I saw that Sweven in there, nope. But we'll go around the court. Nev, I don't think you welled on Dark Trooper.
I wouldn't
You're free to
wail
play.
on anything.
Yeah.
I'm free to play. But I did mention it on our show last night. Putting the 5s and the 7s in there. The heavy whales and the Krakens are going to spend on this anyway. But bringing the 5s and the 7s back and not making it a guaranteed 10 every single time makes the Dolphins and the Minnows go, yeah, why, it's a double. They're having to pay twice as much in order to get the character full. Whereas, like you said on those previous ones, where they were always at least guaranteed to get 10 every single time, to me, it makes absolutely no financial sense whatsoever. This is a big money screw up by either someone in EA or CG, because all of those smaller amounts, they're not going to get. What people will do is they will wait for those to be in the store, and then they will spend their crystals.
Yeah.
The small amount of money that they use to buy crystals, the Dolphins and the Minnows, they'll be like, "What? Why would I pay 260 crystals per shard now, when if I just wait and I'm going to get the same shard for a lot less crystals?" So no one's going to buy the packs. People are just going to wait until it's in the stores.
I'm unless something
He wants out.
Go take care of your puppy. But I mean, Warrior Jamie, I don't know if you well done on Dark Trooper. It turned me off completely. I was like, and I spend in this game. I will get characters. I've gotten pretty much all marquee. From Gideon to Chupio, all that stuff. But that really turned me off, man. I can't. It just sickened me. I was like, nope. But I don't know. Warrior GMA, did that not bother you? For me, Swevens make me sick. But Warrior GMA, did you guys get the character? Did you spend on it?
I did not.
You did not? All right, Jamie, what about you?
Yep, I did. 1 out of 4. No, I agree though. Because I have notoriously bad luck when it comes to those shard drops. Like, I see people get those big drops, the 101, the 80s, some people get those 330s, right? Like, some people have all the luck. I have never, ever had luck when it comes to that. Like, so I am fully aware going into that. All right, how many 5s am I going to get? How many 7s am I going to get? I got 115 as my best. I did get something other than the 5s and the 7s at least. But yeah, it was like 2 vaults worth of getting shards because I got so many of the low, the 7s.
Swevens! I hate them.
But yeah, I mean, I love Imps is always one of my favorite extra teams that I really enjoy, and he looks amazing. Like, he's a beast, and so I'm looking forward to messing around with him, having fun with him, trying have 2 legit imp teams now, or just 1 super crazy imp team.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, but yeah, it's definitely like a ripoff. I have no illusions about that. if you're gonna spend and you have patience, it's better to buy it on the shipments because you'll get a better like average. Obviously the appeal on this one. If you get a big drop, then it's worth it, of course. But the RNG on those big drops, it's like what, 1 out of 100 people are gonna get a decent drop. Like it's doesn't have good odds, but
Yeah,
it
it is
is
what
what
it
I
it
is.
didn't
is.
even buy the $20 pack because this is the deal. If I'm gonna buy him, I'll buy the $20 pack to get closer to the 330 shards. But if I'm not gonna whale on him, I'm not even gonna buy the $20 pack. I'm not even gonna waste money. And for me, I'm going to Mexico, and I'm just like, I did the math, and I'm like, I'm gonna buy at least three vaults plus another $20, so it's
You're right.
300 plus the gear, so another $100 in a vault on that. So we're talking about, I watched Arnold, and he did the $50 vault for gear plus the 20 plus the three vaults, so he was 370.
Oh wow.
Yeah, that's
And
why
he's
I'm not
and
doing
he's
it.
a Kraken like me, so we're talking 370 for a Kraken, and I would probably be with him. Plus, he had all of the cryo techs. I don't, so I'd be looking at another probably $100 for cryos. So we're at 470. We're at almost $500 for a character that I don't need in the game. It's a freaking virtual game, and so I'm like $500. That is. For me and my wife in less than 10 days, two different major activities while we're down in Mexico. So
Sure.
I just
Oh yeah, no question. No question.
I just
That's
analyze what we're going to do. I'm like, yeah, we're just going to do a couple of really fun activities instead. And I'll wait till he goes farmable. But the irony is these characters are always like their countdown timer. I always look for the like small things. Their countdown timers are always like 28 days left. His 33 days left. Really long, much longer than normal, which tells me there's a very, very, very specific time frame that they're shooting for, which means they're working towards a little
we
bit
all
long.
know something big
Yeah.
is coming. Yeah.
Yeah, which means definitely the Bo-Katan thing. So I'm figuring he's going to be required for Bo-Katan probably, and so anyone that does whale on him is going to be rewarded with the necessary character needed. So I won't.
I already had all the gear saved up, so for me, I didn't spend that much thankfully compared to some others because I've pretty much just been hoarding everything because I have everything. I was just waiting for another character, right? So, but yeah, those drop rates are like,
they're awful.
They're
really bad. They're just so bad.
Yeah.
It's such a pain. It's
so that's where it was over 2 vaults, for me, to get the.
And it's not that I can't. It's not. And the thing for me, it's not that I can't well on it. I could easily do it. It's not. That's not an issue. It's just I don't want to. It's just like I don't want to. I just know. I'm just like,
there's nothing like demotivating me by telling me I'm going to have to spend $500 on a character, only to know that in 1 month there'll be another character that it's going to be proceeding to another character, which I'll have to spend $500 for. So we're talking about $1,000 within about a month, and I'm not going to do that. So it's like whatever. I'm just going to play and have fun.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's yep.
All right. Let me see the next question here.
Real quick.
Yes.
I tagged him, but I saw because we were talking, or he had mentioned about the rewards for the hard mode, normal mode of the Conquest. I posted a screenshot of a sheet that someone compiled the comparisons for normal and hard mode. Because Scion, he was asking if he could see it side by side, so he could see what path he wanted to do and stuff like that. See the comparison. So I tagged him. I posted the link. It's a Discord attachment, but it looks like it shows up. But yeah, just wanted to point that out in case anyone else wanted to see that as well. You can see the normal and hard mode comparisons right next to each other like that, because I was in full agreement. I think it's stupid that they limit it like that, but
Another thing I noticed about that, and I'm not looking at that chart in front of me or anything, but what I noticed when I looked at it a few weeks ago or whatever was the very last tier in normal is exactly the same rewards as the very 1st tier of hard. And I feel like that's stupid, because if you work all the way through normal and get those rewards, it's like it should be progressive. Once you're in hard, now you're going against Relic 4, not Relic 3 characters. And if you have to go all the way through the tier of Relic 4 characters, there should be a progressively better reward system there. I don't know. I just feel like there's not. It's just weird. They're like there wasn't. I don't know. It's silly. But if you're going to get all the way to the end, if you were someone that got all the way to the end on this one, and you felt like, yeah, I confidently beat everything on the end, and you were exhausted at the end, and you were like, those rewards were sufficient for me, just do hard and do just the first tier. You know what I mean? You'll get exactly the same thing, and you'll have hardly any of the time investment. You know what I mean? And then you can dabble at the rest of the battles for the rest of the 2 weeks if you decide to.
Yeah, I've been dabbling. I'm just doing a small portion every day and just enjoying it. So I'm in no rush. I'll get through Sector 5 here, like Monday or Tuesday, and be like, okay, yay, normal mode done. All right, next question. I think we're on Warrior from Nathan H. It's this question. I like using EP Darth Vader and Wampa together. Who would you recommend for spots 4 and 5?
Does he have Canderous Ordo?
No.
Because Canderous, man. The dots with Canderous, and then if he's got the pig tank, that would be fun too.
The pig tank. Oh my god.
Those are fun. I'm serious. Those are really fun.
I know, but I can't bring myself to use those characters.
I can.
I know you can, but oh boy.
Canderous is definitely a super, super, super fun character with the triple tap and all the extra dots for that particular team. So I mean, if you have Canderous, he's definitely synergistic with that team and all the additional dots for Wampa and for. I mean, if you're using Wampa with Vader, you're obviously using this cross blend. So, anyway, I think Canderous would be a good add for that, and then you could put anybody else in that 5th one, but I'd probably put a tank.
Yeah,
probably an auto taunt tank or someone, Royal Guard or Shore Trooper or someone to try and kind of help protect that team a little bit.
Yeah, I also think another good one, if you're not using like your Vader for like a Galactic Legend counter, you can go with Tarkin. Tarkin's a great one because of his dots, and plus he reduces turn meter. There's a lot of combinations. If you are using it for like a really hard counter, you always put Thrawn in there. You can put Grid in there. Grid along with that team is really stupid because once he takes a turn, they're in big trouble. They're in big, big trouble. Okay, let's see here. Next question for Adastra. We've got Herbert Fulgrim's question. How do you mirror a Padme team? I always lose the match even if I have much higher gear and relics. Something with timing Jedi Knight Anakin dispels. Always seem to lose my stacks while they one-shot my GK.
Yeah, that's pretty much part of it, trying to time it. Like, you want to wait to use your Anakin's AoE until after the opponent does his.
Mm-hmm.
Generally, one of the better lineups, I used to do these all the time. So, I mean, it's definitely a bit of a nuance of this timing. It really is. And biding your time to get your protection up to do your big hits versus them. So, yeah, you time your Anakin to dispel them. You wait, basically. For me, the easiest was having Shock T in there. She really, really upped the easiness of this mirror because you have her dispel on the basic, which, helps you to control the enemy stacks because you don't want them. You kind of got to keep track, right? Like, if you're so focused on, say, the opponent's Anakin, you're not watching, like, what if their Snips was, getting all her stacks and then she comes along with her big hit. So Shock T really helps to control it in that regard. And you can also use her to call Padme to give you that protection up going. So I'd highly recommend that team if you haven't used that one. Do the Padme, Anakin, Snips, Shock, GK. That's really your more reliable version of that team, for those reasons I just stated. And like I said, yeah, it's just timing. So see what the opposing speeds are compared to your speeds. So if their Padme is faster, she's gonna open up with a stun, the kick or whatever. And then your Anakin versus their Anakin, you can see what the speeds are. Because again, wait for him to use his AOE first, and hopefully you should survive, because he's not gonna have a ton of those stacks to like just AOE, like one shot your whole team, right? And then you have your shock. Well, usually if you have it, depending how you have them modded, like a lot of people have shock T fast, right? So you could even open up with this shock calling paddling, get that bonus protection out just as a little buffer. And then again, you just work on controlling their stacks, dispelling, get your protection up, get your Anakin to murder their Anakin, and go from there.
Pray to the RNG Jesus. All right. Let's see here. Next question for the Nev. From Nathan H. This question: which fleets tend to be better for defense or offense in GAC?
Well, I mean, God, so many variants.
There's a lot of variance in that.
There's a lot of variance. Okay, so for GAC, it depends what division you're in
and what they have.
Okay, and what they have. Now, if you're Division 3 or below, and you have the time and the patience to work on your fleets, I will go with the I'll go MILF on defense, because it's usually the first fleet that you build up. If you don't have a massive crystal income, then you can't work on two fleets at the same time, which is what I did on my Division 3 account. So I worked on MILF for defense. So Relic, it's a Relic Akbar, Relic Bosk, Relic Bistan, Scarif Rebel Pathfinder, and Relic MILF. That fleet does not get beat. It just simply doesn't. In Division, because I only have to worry about one fleet on defense, and then I use my Malevolence for offense. So I'm always winning fleets, and I'm always getting a hold on defense. And that would be the way that I would look for things. That would be the way I would look to go towards if you're Division 3 or below. But Division 2 and Division 1 is two fleets in a fleet node, and there is no right or wrong answer. There really, really is no wrong or right answer. I mean, most people that are low end, middle end, intermediate end in Division 2 and Division 1 will go for one solid, so one get two fleets, and then one slightly weaker team, and then keep, if they've got the second get two fleets. So if they've got Malevolence and Negotiator, they'll put one on defense and keep one for offense. So they'll put Negotiator on defense, keep their Malevolence for offense, because they'll have a standard Empire team and a standard MILF team that they can use to take out that second one, and then they'll just put something trashy in. If you're high end, then you've probably got all the fleets, you've probably got all the characters relicked. You do your research, you put Malevolence and you put Negotiator on defense, because if you are at the higher end, you know how to use your Radis and your Akbar and your Final. You know how to use those fleets to defeat get two fleets, which, if your opponent does that, you've got the tools necessary to beat a Malevolence and to beat a Negotiator. If they don't put those on defense, you've definitely got the tools to be able to beat, a MILF or an Empire fleet. So Division 3 and below, I go for MILF on defense and Malevolence on offense, just because it gives me I have a more successful win rates in GAC Division 3 and below using that on defense, because you've only got one fleet to worry about defense and one fleet to worry about offense.
Yeah, and it's going to dictate, again, what the opponent has. Like this last round, opponent did not have First Order that was facing me or Rebels that were really good. So I always put Holdo on defense. Regardless of whether that ship gets the Holdo maneuver off or not, it steals banners. It is a pain in the ass. But the other fleet will dictate what they have and what they can do. Sometimes I put Negotiator down. I never put Malevolence on defense. I always keep that for offense. But sometimes I'll put Negotiator, but this last time I put Empire. I was like, there you go. Deal with that. You can't, But if they're going to... The other thing, caveat, especially in higher divisions, if they keep Malevolence and Negotiator for offense, I put Holdo down, and then I'll put, the Rebels down, just as hopefully they can get some banner steals from there, because if they got those two ships, they're going to, kick ass. Now, if my negotiator or stuff is higher, then I'll make their life miserable and put negotiator down. Like, oh, I see your malevolence kind of put there, and your negotiator's only relic 5. Well, guess what? You're getting a relic 7 negotiator. Deal with it, and I'll put Holden with that. Again, it's dictated by what your opponent has. All right, so
yeah. I mean, I would throw in there that you don't need to relic everything. But if you have one team that you do enjoy and do like putting on defense a lot, it is prudent to at least, you don't need to go nuts and relic 7 them, but 3s and 4s on the crew for the fleet that you predominantly use on defense. It makes it more survivable, and it makes it more likely that you hold that territory more so than them having to double tap it.
All right. Next question for Warrior, and I forgot about this, and this is a great question. We get the whole pin on this one. This is from Dr. Buck FU. Says, question, what's your thoughts on the Crankcore changes announced thus far?
I don't know until we do it. I know what they're trying to do, which is reduce the requirement for all of us to have to drop damage at the exact same time. And so there'll be less, need for that. But it's also going to make it harder on the individual. So I don't know. I almost think it almost will require, it'll be almost more difficult. So I don't, until we do another run on the raid to see kind of with those changes, how is it going to play out? I just don't know. So we'll see. I mean, time will tell. If it makes it easier, then great. And if it requires less, I know that it's almost sounded like they waved the white flag in the post. It was like, we were trying to do something with this, it didn't work out, sorry, have a nice day, we're gonna roll it back and make it easier. That's what it sounded like. We were attempting to make it this, it wasn't this, sorry, here you go, here's the changes, have a good day. So it sounds like they basically made some changes that makes it easier. So we'll see. It sounds like that's the case, but and a lot less requirements of team organization, but without actually making runs on it, who knows what it'll be like. So.
Yeah, I have some comments on this.
Go for it. That's why I said I'm opening this up.
Yeah, because I do mercs. I'm a part of a merc server. In fact, we represent a lot of guilds that we help out. Shout out to Merc City. Whoop whoop. But yeah, this change, I hate it. I understand the reasoning for it. Again, that's the only plus side to it, is that it's getting rid of the whole post at the exact same time for your guild. So now one guy won't screw over the guild anymore if they do the early post, right? Like if they do the threat at 80%, it's no longer gonna screw over the entire guild. So it's basically reverting it back to the original heroic Sith days, where you have your 2% teams. You remember that, where you send in whatever the hell you got, get your 2%, call it good. So what I dislike is that it was anti-Supreme Leader solo, because there's you can solo phase 1 in this pit raid with Supreme Leader, so they wanted to prevent that, and then they ended up punishing all the teams, because the multiplier, 2% health. Think about this for 1 second. 2% health loss is when the boosts occur. So 2% health loss equals 20% total stat increase of the beast. 4% equals to 20% plus the 40%, 60%, and so on and so forth. That when you get to friggin' just a 6% threshold, that's 120%. It's just neutering everything. Obviously we won't know the full impacts of our usual teams until we actually get to try this out, but I am fully expecting teams that I'm getting for example, you get Vader in phase 1, you can get 15 to 20%, depending on RNG and your Cooling Blade. The 20% is the high end run, but typically you average 15% on your runs. that I'm expecting is going to drop down to like 5%, if that, because you're basically only going to get one culling blade now. So you're going to have to like bide your time. So it's changing the dynamic big time. So this does help big guilds. This punishes smaller guilds because now they need more teams at Relic 5. I mean, think about that. The Relic 5 requirement, a ton of teams now, like more teams are going to be needed than ever before. So smaller guilds, it's actually going to be tougher because now they're like, oh, yeah, I was barely, like, if they were barely clearing it, for example, now it's like, okay, now I need to work on, more teams so you can have it per phase because you can no longer rely on
just solo it for them now. They can't just cheat, basically, not to call it that, but you know what I mean? They can't have like 5 of you come in and solo it. They can't do that,
Yeah.
They actually have a bunch of people actually make an effort, like 30 people with relic characters make an effort to get it done, which sucks.
But now it's like, I hate that it's everything's relegated to the same impact though. So like the plus side is you'll be able to use anything at any time now. So like, when you Zerg, it's freaking insane. Like you always have to use like CLS or someone that was guaranteed to get like one hit. Well, now the flip side, every single team will be of use now to get that 2%. So this rewards people with larger rosters because then they can just send in, as many teams as they want now to get a little bit because it'll always reset to that first threshold now. So you can get 2% or whatever with anything at any time. So it's rewarding, big rosters to be able to now you can just spam all your teams. But it kind of, I still enjoy experimentation aspect of like figuring out the best teams, right? So I'll still be able to do that. But I'm gonna miss being able to like see those bigger run pushing my teams to do different things. Now it's just, I feel like they need to do more to make this worthwhile. Like if they increased the reward structure, for example, because it is terrible. If they did just anything to help compensate this huge change, because this is just, it's ridiculous. So.
It really is.
I actually, there was a passage in the post that, it's just the way that I interpret it when they were talking about inclusivity within a guild already completing the raid. I interpret that as, because when they first brought this out, I said Relic 5's too much. Give it a few weeks, give it a few months. I think that they'll reduce the relic requirement from 5 to 3 so that, more people in a guild get to enjoy it, because more people have probably got 20 relic. There's a lot of average players, 3, 4, 5 million that might only have one squad of relic 5s if they have, but they've got maybe 4 or 5 squads of relic 3s. And they're looking at their squads of relics going, I'm not taking those squads from 3 to 5 just to do this Rancor raid. But they reduced made it more inclusive and they reduced it from 5 to 3. Those people that just do not bother doing the Crankor are like, oh, hang on a minute. I've now got 5 squads that I can try in the Crankor raid. I'll take them in and see what I can do. Now, sure, it might not do an awful lot of damage, but it does make the raid a lot more inclusive for those lower guilds that were having to use mercs to solo P1. And there's less merking needed and more guilds that are in that 220 to 300 mil GP range that have maybe 1 or 2 squads at Relic 5 or above, but have got 4, 5 or 6 squads at Relic 3. It just, I think something, they didn't say anything about the rewards, but I interpret that passage as that they're going to reduce the relic requirement from 5 to 3, which I think would be great for those guilds. And like the post says, it would make it more inclusive for those guilds that are already completing it, where you've literally got a guild of 50 people and it's 10 people in the guild that are completing the raid every single time. And that if they want to make it if they do truly want to make it inclusive, bringing it from 5 down to Relic 3, it makes everybody instantly happy, because it's like, great, I can finally put 3, 4, or 5 squads in this and give it a try. And when they get smashed out of the park and they only score like 400-500k in damage, it's like, right, okay, I get why this is so hard now. But at least they get to try, as opposed to looking at their roster and going, well, I can't do anything. This is no fun because I literally can't do anything.
All right, let's move on to the next question. We're going to Lady Adastra from Nathan H. This question: which do you think is better with SLKR and why? Phasma or First Order Officer?
First Order Officer.
Yeah, by hands down, by long stretches.
Pass that to you. Get those poke skill in or AoE, whatever the hell you want. Like having the hooks plus First Order Officer combo. I mean, you're basically killing most of the stuff probably before the opponent gets too much.
All right. That was a pretty simple one. Actually, I'm going to open this up to the panel. I want to talk about the data disc. I had to go do something real quick, so I'll be gone for about 3 minutes. But panel discuss. We're going to start with the Nev. What is your favorite data disc? And talk about data disc. I'll be right back.
Well, my favorite data disc was the it's called deployable, but Loki kept on calling it deplorable, so it kind of stuck. So I keep referring to it as deplorable. Depending on what color you get, it's a single dot mod, but I think it's like 8, 10, 12, or 15% chance that you reset the specials. And if you stack those things, it just makes certain characters ridiculously over the top OP. But now I've on one of my 4 accounts, I got some really good RNG, and I got the booming voice one dropped on me, which is if you use if you've got a character in the leader slot and they use a special, everyone assists.
So it's actually any ability. If a leader uses
any ability,
everybody assists on.
Everybody assists. That is an awesome.
That's my favorite.
That's my new favorite, because you put GMY in the lead, and if you've got a couple of the deplorables, you slap, everyone assists, and then your cooldowns reset. You slap, everybody assists. So it doesn't. So you. Whereas before you were just slapping and hoping that the AoEs would whittle everybody down. If you got the booming voice and you've got the other data cards to either increase turn meter or reset cooldowns, you chew through. It doesn't matter what the team is. You just chew through them in 60 seconds, and you're going to 3-star every single one. I mean, don't get me wrong. It's not good for the feats, and that's why they put a lot of feats in there, and getting those points is important in order to progress and get to the chests. So that you've got the fun element of using those data cards so that you can complete each node. But at some point, you're going to have to go back through each of the sectors so that you can complete the feats with different data cards. But yeah, those are my 2 favorites. What about you, Warrior? You just said what your favorite is. It's the same with the booming voice. It's brilliant.
In my live stream, it's like a glitch. There's a bunch of glitches, by the way, in this. I know people who use like Darth Vader Calling Blade Infinite until everyone's dead. Though they went Calling Blade, like just nonstop. I never got to do that one, but on my live stream, if you go back and watch this last week, we did a bunch of battles, and with booming voice, where your leader uses any ability, they call an assist. There was an interaction between Jedi training Rey and BB-8, where if you call BB-8, BB-8 calls a person to assist. Well, then he calls the leader to assist. The leader takes a turn and calls BB-8 to assist, which BB-8 goes and calls us to assist, and then so they go back and forth until the person's dead.
Oh wow! I'm gonna have to try that one.
Yeah, it was an infinite loop. It was an infinite loop until the individual was dead. So JTR, BB-8, and booming voice was an infinite loop until the person was dead. So I didn't realize until I had the team in there, but we were just during my live stream, we were playing, and I had a JTR team in there. It was just a normal, like it was JTR, BB-8. I think I had R2D2, Holdo. I mean, it wasn't even like a super OP team. It was just like a regular, team. And we were going over some really high relic teams. They were like relic, 3 teams. And But just booming voice was like the real big one, and they would just go damn, damn, bam, 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 dead, and then we'd go to the next one. JTR would go bam, 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 dead. We were just assassinating turn after turn. It was like literally an assassination of each character, and I was like, wow, that was amazing. So it was pretty awesome. And then sometimes they would call other characters, and so sometimes there'd be 3 or 4 interactions, but they constantly kept going until the character was dead. So that was my favorite interaction. But I hear other people that have found infinite loops with Darth Vader and the Culling Blade and stuff, but I never got to experience that on this particular one. I'd like to see a video on that, but I do have the video.
I got to do that, and it is hilarious. Like, you just dots, Culling Blade. It is ridiculous. And then you can do it with like CLS because of his you rotate his stances and stuff, so you can do a bunch of stuff with him. You can do it with Han. But one of my ones that I really enjoyed, it was the first big disc, or like the OP, like you're talking about the big ones, right? It was the Deadly Momentum one. I don't know if you remember that.
Okay, no, I don't recall that one. What is it? Is it a 4 dot?
It's a 4 dot.
It's a 4 dot.
Yeah, so this one, I had a lot of fun with it. So what this one does, it's when you recall those discs that if an enemy falls below 100% health, your allies gain some, or the enemy, say they gain like 2 stacks of armor shred, healing immunity, can't be dispelled. Like, there's a bunch of them when the enemy falls below 100% health, and they're 1 dots. So then I came across this one so it capitalizes on that. So it then says all allies have plus 30% shield penetration, gain 30% offense when an enemy falls below 100% health. Data disc effects that trigger when enemies fall below 100% health also trigger at 70% and 40%. So what I did was use Night Sisters, because Plague will hit on the health right away. So I was like, I had all these equipped. The enemy falls below 100% health stats. So like the healing immunity, armor shred, my allies gain turn meter, buffs. So it's like all these chain reactions, and it would stack up the 100%, 70, and 40. So it's like right away, the enemy has like 8 stacks of armor shred each, like stuff like that. Like, it was just, Night Sisters was just like instant kill on them, because you just hit under the protection, go right after, and you have all this offense boost. Like, it was pretty fun just going through, mowing down the enemies. I also use imps with it, which that's another fun team. You just get all that momentum that you're basically just tearing down. That leads to the other one, the turn meter one, the DK. I believe it is that one where when you deal damage, when an ally deals damage to an enemy, the enemy loses X amount of turn meter. So that one was crucial for the Sith Emperor 700% ridiculous turn meter thing you had to do. Like, I don't know if it's possible without discs for that one. But that one was an interesting one. I've been hearing about all kinds of these different OPs, so it's definitely big random of what discs you'll come across. So it's kind of cool that there's such a variety like that. So I've been kind of using this normal mode as like a testing grounds to keep in mind. This hard mode, it's going to be way more necessary of what type of discs you're going to need. So I'm expecting it to be really tough. Like, I'm expecting the challenge. I'm expecting hard mode to be a challenge for me. So I want to take note of what kind of discs should I hunt for, what's going to have the most impact and help me out in the later tiers, and then testing out these different combos that we're doing, talking about like these infinite combos or just some niche stuff. So that's always been a lot of fun. Like, these discs have made it very enjoyable to that aspect.
The Sector 1, I think the Sector 1, when all of you guys that have got your OP accounts first hit Sector 1 of the hard mode, that's going to be the toughest sector, because obviously you're not going to have any data discs. But at least having done this first 2-week one, you kind of know what data discs you're looking to try and keep your fingers crossed and see. When you hit those data disk nodes, you're gonna, as soon as you see them, you're gonna be tapping on them, and it's like, please be in there, please be in there, and you're kind of hoping for some good RNG, because, like you said, that first sector is gonna be, you're hoping for good RNG so that you can build up at least 3 or 4 good data disks, because your sector 2 and the rest of those sectors for that hard are going to be really tough, and you're going to want good data disks, because your sector 1 on hard mode is going to be balls to the wall, hard as nails, with no data disks right off the bat.
I'm curious to see what it'll start, how it'll be. And then on that same note, that actually reminded me of a minor complaint I had, because I know it is random with the disks, but I hated that on the same selection, you could have more than one of the same name, like literally the same exact.
Yeah.
Like a duplicate. Like, it's like, really? You give me like 3 options and 2 of the options are the same? Like, it's like, come on.
I do have to get out of here, but that was what I was going to leave you guys with, so you guys could chat. Was I didn't like how you couldn't like tap on something to read it. You had to actually put it over to the left to read it, and then hit the X. You have to like
the user interface,
read them and decide which one. Yeah, the interface didn't give you an option to like press it, tap it, and read it. Just to read it, you had to throw them all to the left, read what you wanted, and then delete or whatever. And then the other thing is consumables and data disks reset. The data disks are fine if they reset, but the consumables you purchase either with your currency you've earned or with crystals you've earned, and those reset, and that's not fair. Those are earned items, and yet they're going to rip those out of your inventory at the end of this 2 weeks, and I don't feel like that is fair. But I gotta go. You guys deal with that question or thought process.
Thanks.
I gotta get out of here. But I think that's a tragedy, and I think that they shouldn't be allowed to take something that's out of your inventory. That's like taking gear that you've earned out of your inventory.
That's true. That's a good.
I agree on that, because they're temporary boosts. It's not like you can keep reusing them. So I agree. Like, it's just you have all this excess. Oh, not anymore.
Wonderful day, you guys.
All right, well, please be safe, my friend.
Yep.
Take care.
All right, let's get to some more questions here.
I'm glad you mentioned that other one though. That was another little peeve.
Yeah,
was like you had to select the data disks, like you had to move them over in order to actually see what everything does.
I know, right? All right, I'm just gonna go to the source. We had a lot of questions, but some of these are silly. Like, if the panel were in The Princess Bride, who would they be? Moving on.
Inconceivable.
Obviously, I'm no math for your brawn, and you're no math for my intellect. We're that smart. You've ever heard of Socrates? Plato?
You killed my father. Prepare to die.
Stop saying that. See what you did? Started a whole Princess Bride.
Start a whole Princess Bride thing now, yeah.
Let's see here. Nathan H says, question. We'll go to you, Nev. KR, Wampa, Gas, and Malik, which team do you like to solo with each one?
Well, Phoenix and Rogue with the Wampa. First Order with Malik. My crew's not very good, so he's unable to solo anything. And what was the fourth one?
Gas.
I don't have gas, so I don't know.
You can use gas with bounty hunters. You can use it for knights. Just good God, gas can do a lot of solo stuff on that one. All right, do we have a question for you specifically, GMA? From Yum Yum says, question, GMA, what is your next Relic 8?
Good question. I've actually been debating that myself, because I'm focusing on doing all of Jedi first, of course, but I'm running out of the mainstay ones, like the main. So I'm debating maybe Grandmaster Yoda. Awful. I mean, he gets, unfortunately, I really hate what they did with his mask. Like, he kind of got chipped on his boosts, what he should be. But it would still give him somewhat of a boost. Otherwise, maybe Soak or Jedi Knight Revan was another possibility, because he would get some more damage, and he's used all the time. Yeah. So that's why I'm debating him or Yoda, because I use them both in a lot of different teams. So probably one of those two.
All right. Nathan H. question for Ranger in the 18-hour stream. Did Meow encourage you by saying go on? Probably, I just don't remember. All right, next question. We'll go to you, the Nev. Let's see here. Darsan, I have Galactic Legend Luke and Rey, both Relic 7. My first Relic 8 was GK for Fleet. I now can Relic 8 2 characters. Which are the best characters to Relic 8? We kind of discussed this already, the top
Yeah,
five.
we did touch on this, definitely. I mean, we although it was more what would you take from 7 to 8? It was, that was unnecessary. But we then added to it what would be necessary, like your General Grievous or your GK,
Luke.
because they have the dual function of being good in both arena and but
Rey,
obviously the fleet as well. Yeah.
Rey, Luke is fine. Palpatine, sure, he gives him a little more survivability. He's not in my top 5. But yeah, there gives some suggestions. I'll answer this one real quick, and then we'll go to EGMA. Lotto says, why does Boba Fett still have the Mandalorian Resolve unique buff, even though it's not been established that he's not a Mandalorian? Should the buff be taken off? No, and they don't really do a lot of rework on character kits and stuff. You'll get used to that, Lotto. I just think
Bounty Hunter's Resolve, by the way.
Yeah, it's Bounty Hunter's Resolve, not Mandalorian Resolve. So I don't think they're going to do anything with that, so... Sorry, they just don't. They barely rework characters. Ask Rambam about how rework characters go, and he'll tell you all about Rambam. All right, GMA. Here's a good one. Here's a fun one. Thoughts on the data mine image of the Night Owl logo? We know this is coming, GMA. It's Bo-Katan. She's coming.
Yeah.
Right? I was like, it's only a matter of time. It's just
epic confrontation. I've been saying it for months.
Yeah, in what way is she gonna be released? Like, what is she going to be? Is pretty much what all the question is. Because we know she's coming. We're just wondering in what way, So I'm hoping, fingers crossed, that she's gonna be that missing piece to really make these guys just take them to another level, right?
Oh yeah, her leadership's gonna be just off the chart. That's why I think she'll be an epic confrontation. You'll need, a similar amount of a similar amount of characters like with Gas. 4 phases, similar to the Gas, and then once you've completed the epic confrontation and got her at 5 stars, they will put her in the new store.
I hope not. That's going to
I think they will put her in the new store where you will need to spend your currency on taking her up to 7 stars.
All right.
It makes me ill thinking of that, but I would not be surprised because we know a character is going to go in there because it's a new form of currency and there's just nothing really worth buying in there, other than like the boosts if you need them. But otherwise, it's just like, we're just kind of waiting for that. So
I actually think that once this exhibition phase is, I still think that they're going to put Watt and Cam in that store as well, just like they added the other the other TB characters into the GET store. I think that they're going to add Watt and Cam. I think they want to. I think they're going to do it to put a squeeze, so it really makes you think. What do I want to spend my store currency on? Do I want to, because people have that dilemma in the Get store at the moment. Do I save up for when I go for Gas? Do I go for Malik? Do I go for Yoda? There's all of that, crunch on, what you spend the currency that you earn on. And I think that they will do that because I barely spend my currency in that store at the moment. But if they put some stuff in there that was worthwhile and made me think, oh crap, I really want that, but I also want that. And so that's what I think they'll do. I think Bo-Katan will go in there after her epic confrontation. And at some point in the not too distant future, Cam and Watt will end up in that store.
All right.
Well, the downside of that was because it takes this is like a 2-week event and they get some of the rewards and then accumulating the currency to use. It would take a very long time to 7-star character through there.
Exactly, like it does with GTV.
I'm just thinking of the Razor Quest. That thing is a 5-star unlock, and we're only getting so many shards.
Mm-hmm. 40, if that, if you can
Yeah.
get to the higher tiers. Because if it's an 80, oh no, it's a 5-star unlock.
Yeah.
It is a 5.
So
Oh, right,
I'll
right.
see you in 3 months, Jedi Master Dash, when we're
Right.
unlocking the goddamn ship.
Like, good grief. Yeah, it's yeah, we'll see. I mean, hopefully, I'm hoping they adjust some things, based again on the feedback. So, but
Yeah, definitely. They definitely need to square away the user interface for the data cards, so that you can see everything on the left, and that so that you can do the hold on the mods that aren't equipped, so that you can actually see what damn things are before you equip it.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's see here. A couple quick questions. I'll take care of these. What else are the 3 questions? So what Warrior's saying is, Christ fucker, it's just a game. Good meet the fucker questions there. Epro's Ruin says, LOL Ranger, what movie was that? There was an alien in it. There was a scene in episode 2, therefore a Star Wars question. I'll be the judge of that, young man. Nathan H. All right. I'll go to this one for you, Jedi Master Dasher. What is your favorite Crankcore Raid SLKR comp?
SLKR. Boo.
You use it. Don't even play.
No, I know. I was just, I used the phase 2, phase 3. I use it with the Night Sisters. I found that one has the higher damage threshold for
Zombie
me. So
and
it's
Daka,
Zombie
right?
and Daka,
Yeah.
Thrawn, and Hux. And it's very contingent though on if Daka is feeling generous with her revives or not. So sometimes it can be frustrating if you never, ever, ever get a revive. It can be a little annoying.
Yeah.
But otherwise, you can usually get some decent percent damage with that team. Like the best I ever did was a 30%, but I got really lucky with the revives. Otherwise, I averaged like 15 to 20, give or take. So
Yeah,
not bad, my real like 7 Supreme Leader.
Yeah, I'm kind of lazy. I've got armor in there now. I'm like, armor, put that Beskar on. All right, then do your thing, Kylo. Give me 15%.
Oh yeah, who does she replace for that?
Thrawn.
Oh, okay. Because I was wondering about that. Someone was theorizing about if armor was worth putting in,
think
taking
so.
out
It's
someone
just
else. But I wasn't
yeah.
sure.
Yeah, I for Thrawn, I just put that in there, and she puts the Beskar Mando on. You just he keeps counterattacking, gets free damage. So I mean, it's an easy way to not stress about getting that right timing where you go into his ultimate and all that other stuff, just in case he gets gobbledygooked up.
That makes sense. I'll try that next time just to see how it compares. Because if it saves me from having to restart a couple of times,
Yeah, I know, right? Question: if Taken Kermit encountered C, what would he say to Viagra Palps? I killed Snoke. I'll kill you too. All right, Nev, nightmare question: is GAC becoming stale for you? Not for me, Nev.
No, it's not becoming stale. I don't think that CG are going to do anything in GAC at all. Not with Conquest and challenges ongoing. That they are all about the new modes. So all of the changes that the community would love to see implemented in Grand Arena Championships, they're not going to do. I genuinely don't think that they're going to spend any time, effort, or money on it whatsoever. None. I mean, they had just 2 devs working on a ship raid, and they mothballed it. And they only had 2 devs working on that mode, and they mothballed that raid. It would take probably a lot more than a couple of devs, more than a few weeks to do a rework or do some tweaks to GAC, and I just don't think that they have the need that they feel the need to do it.
Yeah.
Maybe 12 months from now they give us Grand Arena as a Grand Arena challenge mode, which they could just throw on a node, as piecemeal to the community. It's like, we're not going to rework Grand Arena Championships, but here's an instant way that you can challenge somebody in a single round Grand Arena. So 12 months from now, I think that they would throw us a bone and maybe give us that, because it's nice for content creators and for friends to be able to match up and challenge each other for a single round of Grand Arena. I can see them doing that before they rework the divisions, rework the algorithm, rework the matchmaking, but that doing all of that is a lot more work than just creating, here, challenge your friend. Go into your allies and challenge your friend in one round of Grand Arena.
All right. Nathan H, for you, Dasher, question. Which Jedi, when relic are surprisingly powerful, can sneak up on people? All right, I'm going to limit this question because she'll be talking about this for 6 hours. Give me 2 that you think are really powerful once you get them all relics and stuff that can sneak up on people.
What, talk about all Relegate Jedi? What?
No, I
Is that
said
what you
2.
want me
I
to do?
limited you to 2. Don't play games with me, girl.
So just pick my favorite 2 that I've
favorite
enjoyed.
2. Well, the 2 that you think are sneaky, that you don't think people really think about, and then you get them high up there with Relic 7, Relic 8, and all of a sudden they're like, BAM! In your face.
Well, yeah, that's a good point. So, I mean, Ezra, so he's
Yeah,
gotten
that's
a
a
little
good
more
one.
love lately because he's been a lot of people kind of overlooked him. Like, they didn't realize how hard hitting he can be, like, especially with his Zeta. So that's been kind of people that have been wanting to build like 2 teams now because they have more of the Jedi, right? That they've been looking at him like, wow, he's actually pretty strong. So he's been like one of those. He's always been decent, but more people are becoming aware and seeing, once he's relic up as a Zeta, like he's very strong. So, I mean, that's a other relic impact. Let's see.
That's 1.
Well, Zara's, but she's not sneaky, so that's
No,
not a
she's
good
not
one.
sneaky.
Ayla, I guess Ayla is she actually does get some decent boosts. Relic, it does make a difference for her. And she's another one of those that people were not really paying attention to. Her and, Plo Koon, in fact, kind of those 2. Like, they're good extra ones. Plo was more for the ship, so, people might have had him just for that. But like the relic boost, they actually, like they get some health, some survival, and then just yeah. So I think without going on tangents,
There you go.
those ones, but they're good extra ones. So that's
Yes.
like a lot of people are now paying attention to these non-main big ones, like Jedi Revan and the Gas and those guys. So like these ones are great extra ones that are becoming more into the I wouldn't say mainstream, but like they're becoming more prevalent on these extra teams. And it makes a difference having them relic up to
All right.
damage and health and all that.
All right. Next question. This is actually a good question. Nav, question. Is it a good investment to relic Plo if exclusively used for the GK fleet?
If that's your predominant fleet and you use it all the time, if you're using that in arena and if you're using it in territory wars and if you're using it in territory battles and grand arena, then yeah, I mean, relic, relic, I don't think there's anything wrong with relicking the crew of the ship, relicking the crew of the fleet that you use all the time. A lot of people will say, oh, the character's a waste. It's like, well, you're not using him as a character if you're using him predominantly in fleet all the time, every single day, for every event over and over again. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
All right. Let's kind of start breezing through these questions. Well, this is an easy one. What's your favorite Twitch streamer pet? I'm on Team Buddy, Sable, and Smudge. I'm a Buddy fan because that's my dog. So Sable, Smudge. I think we like them all. So then let's move on. Let's see. Dark Sign question. Is there a place I can see the boxes from normal and hard mode and conquest? I'm on the fence.
They already linked.
What's that?
That was the one that I had linked earlier
Oh,
on.
you did
I
that?
saw
Okay.
him ask that.
Okay.
That was right after you guys were talking about it, so I linked it to
Okay.
him.
Nathan H. I'm going to skip that because that's a Gil Gonzalez question. We don't have time. Sorry, I'm trying to get to the legit questions. It's a fun question, but we just don't have time because there's a lot of people asking questions. Andy Plays Games says, question, why is no one talking about the aspect of getting lead where enemies with the leader tag, not only the leader slot, give the team 10% off in stacking? Bounty and Jedi teams have almost all leaders. Yeah, because that's actually a great question. I'll lead into this one. I'm actually going to be creating a defensive team with Gideon for the troopers. I think that'll be a lot of fun. So I'm actually creating that team as we speak. I got to get him relic and those goddamn furnaces. But
That's a great one for Jedi. Yeah, all Jedi have like leader ability.
I know, right? So you got to be careful
So
who
that's
you
a
go in
problem.
there against that team.
I didn't
with.
get that disc though, so I didn't get to play around with it, but I heard about it. I was like, oh, that would have been perfect for me.
Yeah. But this is about Gideon's leader. You know, I'm down with Gideon, man. I use him all over the place. So I don't use him with troopers right now because the troopers, the way they are with Piet, are just so stupid by themselves. I mean, they're really stupid. But I usually use Gideon with my Night Sister team, or not my Night, my trio team. Right? I go in there against Geos or Night Sisters or Padme. It doesn't really matter, and I'm like, you ain't doing any damage. And I'm going to annihilate every single one of you little bastards. Oh, you're all Relic 5? It doesn't matter because you can't do a damn thing. So he is OP, man. He really is. And I'm excited to get him Relic because I'm going to push him to with Veer's leader ability, I'm going to try to push him to 370 speed. So enjoy.
And that's just it. Veers is still the better leader.
Yeah,
so that's why it's not as I've never used Gideon as the lead because he just goes so well on other teams. So it is definitely overlooked.
It is overlooked and it is really good, but it just because the other stuff works so much better. Because even with that team I put on defense, it's still going to be Veer's lead. You know, it's not going to be like I'm going to put Gideon as the leader there. I mean, that 20 speed to all of them, and you just get the Terminator train going. He goes first, locks them down. It's too good that way. Nathan H, what is with all the damn other universes you're trying to put us in? I'm moving on. Nathan H, question for the panel: what in the game do you hate as much as Ranger hates Swevens? I really hate Swevens.
Galactic Challenges.
There you go. All right. So Galactic Challenges is Nev Swevens.
Oh, I don't know. I mean, I don't really hate anything that much. I guess the possible raid changes. I'll go with that for now.
There you go. Those are Dash's Swevens.
I'd have to think about that more of what I really hate, but I can't really think of anything at this moment.
Okay. Obito, question for Ranger: do you think Dark Trooper could beat One Punch Man 1v1? No, he would get decimated.
No one can.
Say Thomas. Just say Thomas. Come on, get out of here. Skywalker Vader question: what's the best team to use for the feat evade 50 times Sector 5? That's a good question. What would you run in there with? You're gonna have to go with
go ahead.
Oh, go ahead, Dashi, if you have one. I was gonna start thinking out loud.
Yeah, there's a few different ones. There's Jedi is actually really good because you have all that foresight with Yoda.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was gonna say. Jedi with Yoda in there. Yeah.
Yeah, because you got the survivability, no problem with them. Then you can just spam the foresight. Another one that I alternated between and then JTR is another good one because you got I have all the Zetas though, so I get that foresight spam going from GTR, BB-8, Holdo. Yeah. So it was a good. So
Stick
between
Ray,
those two,
Stick Ray, she does that.
Oh right, correct. Yeah, I did actually use her once. That's right. I was like, hey, she's finally useful again.
Yay! Oh, I always love Stick Ray. I used to use her a lot, but with the changes to First Order and other things, she just kind of became not a factor. I mean, she hits really hard, but with the way that with Hux shuts down the team, it was like, damn. Because back in the day,
with the Jedi one, you could actually go undersized too to make them last longer. Like go against the weaker team. And
sure.
You just keep spamming the foresight, and that you can build up a good amount in one go, I believe.
Absolutely. Bad Rongo question: how many counts does Nev have?
4.
There you go. No more. No less.
No more, no less.
All right, now let me check questions again. We'll do a couple of fun ones now. I'll find them. I wanted to make sure we got to the legit questions first. All right, let me go through here. All right, these are all going to mainly be from Nathan H, I figure. Yep, there's Nathan H. Question: if the panel were in Harry Potter books, who would they be? Well, since there's 3 of us, who's going to be Harry? Who's going to be Ron? Who's going to be Hermione?
Oh no, I'd be Snape.
All right, GMA is definitely Hermione. It's just no.
Yeah, you've got to be Ron. You've got to be a Weasley.
Why would I be? Because I'm ginger. That's racist.
No, because you got freckles.
That's racist. I don't know what character I would be based off my personality and stuff. Not a Weasley.
You could be. Never mind. I'm not gonna say that.
Don't say Voldemort. I'll kill you.
Oh, I forgot. I was about to say, who's the... Oh, I'm trying to remember the bloody... What's the name of the character that becomes the werewolf? Because you go on rants and you wolf out. So you could be the
Professor. What's his name?
Oh, what's his name?
Professor Lupin.
That's it, Professor Lupin. Yeah, you would be Professor Lupin.
You sure?
Because every now and then you'd wolf out.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, there you go. That's actually a good one.
Okay, let's see here. All right, question: if the Pinna were in Gilligan's Island, who would they be? Oh well, Jesus.
What is there? There's like a theme here.
You'll have to pick for me, Ranger, because I've never watched Gilligan's Island.
I have, and I'm trying to.
I don't know it.
Me neither.
Personality-wise, it doesn't really fit.
Yeah, that is a popular culture reference that is completely lost on me.
Not me, but a lot of the personality here do not match. Like, actually, you know what? I think Jedi Master Dasher would be the professor. I know it's a dude, but that's her personality.
I have no idea if that's a good thing or a bad thing. So
he created all the weird stuff, and you like weird stuff, like you're doing nothing but Jedi. But he gets the job done. He gets the job done, man. He makes radios out of coconuts. I mean, what can you say? Screw it. I'll be Gilligan. We'll let that be the skipper. Screw it. Let's see here. There's some more of these. I guess gotta look for them. I'm sure I gotta find them now. I have to go back through and look because there's a whole bunch. Let me see here. I know that they're. We didn't actually get into it. If the Pinna were in the Princess Bride, who would they be character wise? We really didn't get in depth about that one. That's a good question. Jamie, have you seen The Princess Bride? I'm assuming you have.
I have, but it's been a while. I was trying to recall.
Well, yeah,
I would be Peter Cook.
I remember the whole
marriage.
I would.
I'll just be Buttercup and call it good.
Peter Cook's an Englishman, so I have to.
I'll be Montoya. I'll be the. You killed my father.
You killed my father. Prepare to die.
I can see me doing some stuff like that. God, God, Jesus Christ. I'm still looking for more of these questions. There was a bunch of them. I'm just going back through and looking at them. I think those are the silly ones that I could see. Let me refresh and look again. I saw a couple of those. I'm like, really?
Delete. You just went delete.
I know there was another one. I can't find it. I know there was another one of those questions like, in this universe, who would you be? God.
A lot of those.
There was. I told you. All right. I think we are squared away, though, with questions. You know, it's a perfect time. It's about time to wrap it up. Let's start pimping our stuff, and let's get out of here. We can go get some breakfast and all that other good stuff. And
yes,
we actually got Jedi Master to the end of the show. I'm actually quite happy. JME, did you not have to work today or something? Or
yeah, I don't have to do much until later.
Yay! We got JME for the whole show. So let me pimp.
I was even on that on Gambit last night too.
Oh wow, you were everywhere. Well, I think I saw you either in Mort's or was it Grid stream? I saw you there.
Oh, yeah, it was Mort. Yeah, I hung out. I popped in there for a little bit before it was time to go on to Gambit. It's really late. They do it at the midnight Eastern.
I know. I've done that. Yeah, I've been on there before.
But I mean, for me, I didn't mind since I'm like finally a West Coast friendly. Like I'm fine with that. But yeah, that was fun getting to do the GA with those guys.
Sure. Yeah, I've done that before. It was a lot of fun. All right, so let's pimp everybody's stuff. We got Warrior, who had to leave. But if you want to check out Warrior, you can check out Warrior Presents on YouTube. I don't think he started Twitch yet, but definitely check out his YouTube comments.
Thinking about
he
it.
was thinking about it. Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
He'll probably convert. Everyone's converting.
Well, the only reason we still do YouTube is just because we have enough big enough following. But if you're starting out and you want to start out streaming, do Twitch. It's just so much easier to get more support there than YouTube. You know, it's not like I can go take this raid and go raid somebody afterwards, right? You're pretty much just you and streaming, and they're not very supportive of streamers. Don't know why. You would think that they would, but they like their videos more, Dastra. I don't know. But check out Warrior on Warrior Presents. He does live streams. He does lots of videos. He's back in the game. So show him some love. Go visit his channel. Hit those thumbs up. Speaking of which, hit that thumbs up here. You guys are doing a pretty good job today. So hit the thumbs up if you wouldn't mind here. Adastra, where can folks check you out, lovely lady?
You can find me on YouTube, Jedi Master Adastra. A lot of Jedi related content, and I also do raid content. So I think, my latest video was actually Phase 4 Jedi team, Jedi Revan with Rey for awesome 16. Oh, we got over 16% in Phase 4, so that was a really solid run. I'm gonna upload some more stuff that I've been meaning to upload, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. I have some guides I'm wanting to put out. I get asked a lot of the same questions a lot, so it's like, I need to put some guides out to help people out, and then I can just reference that, like, oh, need to know this info? Here you go.
There you go.
Otherwise, I hang out on a lot of servers, so
yes.
RSG, of course, I'm in there, so you can hit me up if you have a Jedi question or need help with anything. I have general knowledge beyond Jedi too.
Shocking, I know.
Yeah.
All right.
As always, happy to be on. Thanks for having me.
We're always glad to have you. The Nav, my co-host from the GA Center. Pimp your stuff, brother.
Well, obviously, GA Center. You'll find me primarily on the Escape Podcast channel. So that's twitch.tv/Escape Podcast. But every now and then we do stuff on our YouTube channel, not as much as the Twitch channel. Everything that we do on the Twitch channel is like a live recording, and then it gets, finished off, produced, and then thrown on the YouTube. So if you miss things on Twitch, then, we always throw it up. And I've got my little project on my private channel, which is, just go SWGOH on YouTube, where I'm just reading Star Wars books. I'm just going through the chapters of various different Star Wars books. I need to get onto chapter 5 of Allegiance, like ASAP, but the puppy doesn't let me. And that's where you'll find me.
That puppy. All right, and if you're watching this, you're watching us here on the RSG channel. We stream a lot here on Twitch and YouTube. If you like D&D tonight at 8 p.m. Eastern here over on our Twitch channel, we will be doing our Wildmat campaign, D&D 5th edition. I am the Dungeon Master, and we have a lot of fun with that game. So go and check that out. Also, if you guys could, check out not just the content that we have here, but these wonderful people come here on a Saturday morning to answer your questions. Do me a favor, at least just go check their channels, look at some of their videos, support these lovely guys and gals. They're doing you a favor for being here. So if you can support their content, it does make a difference. Every thumbs up, every view, every follow, all that stuff really does help these channels. So be a sport, go do that. And the last thing I'm going to say before we get out of here and say thank you for being here on the Jedi Academy is wash your hands, wash your face, wear your mask, social distancing. I know there's a lot of ass clowns out there doing the wrong thing, but I tend to listen to doctors and scientists when it comes to communicable deadly diseases, and I'm going to continue to do that stuff, irregardless of what some of these jackasses are saying. So please look out for one another, right? Seriously, it's no joke. We're still losing people in the droves. We're over 500,000 deaths just here in the United States alone. It's still bad out there. I know we're getting out of the tunnel. There's light at the end of the tunnel. Things are looking good, but we're not there yet. So let's do the right thing for the next month or two. Get into a good spot. Let's get more people vaccinated. If you haven't been vaccinated, you should. I just recommend it. It's your choice. But with that, we're going to call this one done. So, on behalf of myself and the panel, have a great rest of your Saturday. If we see you tonight for Dungeons and Dragons, feel free to come on by. We have a lot of fun. If not, then we will see you when we see you. Peace out.